Ever wonder why some people are immune to manipulation? There's a quiet power that works in the background, something stronger than any control tactic or emotional game. It's the Sigma female's secret weapon, and today we're talking about how she shuts down manipulation and reclaims her space. Manipulation? It's no match for the Sigma female. She's got an instinct that sees through the smoke and mirrors, rendering any effort to control her utterly powerless. What happens when the manipulation finally stops working? The Sigma female rises, unstoppable, untouchable, and ready to live on her own terms. Hey there, you. If you've ever felt like someone's trying to play you, control you, or wear you down, this video's for you. Today, we're digging into what happens when manipulation no longer holds any power over the Sigma female. If you've ever had enough of feeling drained or questioning your worth, this is the moment to realize how much strength you actually have. Now, let's get real. We've all been there, right? People trying to make us second-guess ourselves. Manipulators are slick. Emotional pull here, guilt trips there, and before you know it, you start losing yourself. The worst part? The emotional exhaustion. It takes a toll. You don't even recognize who you are anymore. But here's the thing. The Sigma female doesn't need to play by anyone's rules. She has a way of seeing through it all. She chooses herself, no matter what anyone else does. So, how does she do it? How does the Sigma female break free from all the toxic dynamics? Here's the blueprint. 1. Sigma female establishes strong boundaries. First things first, Sigma female knows exactly what she will and will not tolerate. This isn't about being harsh or demanding. It's about recognizing her own worth and protecting her energy. She understands that boundaries aren't just about saying no to others, but also saying yes to herself. It's a clear, unspoken rule in her life. If someone crosses the line, there's no second chance. She doesn't waste time on people or situations that don't align with her values or goals. For Sigma female, respect is non-negotiable. If someone doesn't respect her time, energy, or her boundaries, they're not given the opportunity to make the same mistake again. She doesn't believe in allowing people to manipulate or push her limits, whether emotionally, mentally, or physically. Boundaries are her shield, a protective layer that keeps the negative energy out and her peace in. For some, setting boundaries might feel like a challenge, but for Sigma female, it's as natural as breathing. She understands that she is the one who sets the tone for how others treat her. It's not about controlling people. It's about maintaining her own sense of self. When someone tries to push her boundaries, she doesn't flinch. She calmly and confidently lets them know where she stands. There's no hesitation, no uncertainty. Sigma female doesn't apologize for it because she knows her worth. She doesn't feel guilty for protecting herself. She knows that if someone can't respect her boundaries, they can't truly be in her life. For Sigma female, boundaries are an essential part of maintaining her emotional well-being. If someone starts crossing those lines, whether it's with unreasonable demands, disrespectful comments, or toxic behavior, Sigma female knows exactly how to handle it. She doesn't try to explain herself over and over again or convince the other person that their actions are wrong. She simply makes it clear that their behavior is unacceptable, and she walks away if necessary. This doesn't mean she's quick to cut people off, but it means she's wise enough to know when it's time to walk away and preserve her peace. It's about having enough self-respect to walk away from situations and people that don't contribute positively to her life. Sigma female doesn't waste energy on toxic relationships or power struggles. She doesn't feel the need to prove herself or fight to keep people around. If someone's behavior doesn't align with her values, they're not a part of her circle. It's that simple. Having strong boundaries is an act of self-care. It's not about being cold or unkind. It's about being clear, confident, and unapologetic about who you are and what you need. When Sigma female sets a boundary, she does so with the understanding that she deserves the same level of respect and care that she gives to others. And if someone can't offer that, it's okay. They simply don't belong in her life. Setting boundaries isn't just a survival skill, it's a tool for thriving. It allows Sigma female to protect her energy and stay true to herself. When she establishes boundaries, she's making it clear that she values herself, and she expects others to do the same. She's not afraid to walk away if the energy isn't right, and that's what makes her powerful. It's not about being difficult, it's about being real. She knows that a life without boundaries is a life of constant compromise, but Sigma female doesn't compromise her peace. She owns her boundaries and stands by them, no exceptions. Hey, if you're finding this video helpful so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, moving on. 2. Sigma female stops engaging in toxic dynamics. Sigma female understands the importance of disengaging from toxic dynamics. She has a unique ability to recognize when someone or something is draining her energy, and she chooses not to engage. It's not about confrontation or proving a point. It's about knowing when it's time to walk away. She's not here to play games or get caught up in petty drama. When someone tries to pull her into negativity or manipulation, Sigma female simply doesn't participate. This is where her strength lies. She doesn't react impulsively or get emotionally entangled in situations that don't serve her. Instead, she stays calm, centered, and focused on her goals. When a toxic situation arises, Sigma female sees it for what it is and removes herself from it without hesitation. She's aware that engaging with negativity only gives it power, and she won't allow herself to be controlled by someone else's toxic behavior. The moment she feels the energy shift, she knows it's time to step back. She's learned that her peace is more valuable than anything, and no one is worth sacrificing it for. Sigma female understands that toxic people thrive on drama, chaos, and emotional manipulation. They want to pull others into their vortex of negativity, and they'll use guilt, anger, and even kindness to get what they want. But Sigma female doesn't fall for it. She doesn't allow herself to be baited into emotional traps. Whether it's a toxic friend, co-worker, or family member, she knows that it's not her job to fix them or take on their emotional baggage. She stops engaging because she knows that by doing so, she only perpetuates the cycle. Toxic dynamics can be incredibly draining. They can take up your time, energy, and even your sense of self. But Sigma female is wise enough to recognize when it's time to disconnect. This is her power. She knows that she can't change others, but she can change how she responds. And she chooses to stop responding to toxic behavior. She doesn't owe anyone an explanation for why she disengages. Her peace, her boundaries, and her emotional well-being are non-negotiable. When someone tries to pull her into a toxic dynamic, Sigma female simply removes herself from the situation, no questions asked. This act of self-preservation is powerful. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about refusing to engage in unnecessary drama. Sigma female has learned that toxicity feeds off attention. By refusing to engage, she takes away its power. She's not interested in proving herself or winning any arguments. She doesn't need to fight to make a point. Sigma female knows that the best way to handle toxic people is to simply walk away. This might mean leaving a conversation, stepping away from a relationship, or cutting ties with someone altogether. It's a choice that comes from a place of self-respect and self-love. She knows that by disengaging, she's protecting her energy and reinforcing her boundaries. Sigma female isn't afraid to let go of people or situations that no longer align with her. She's focused on her own growth and happiness, and she knows that toxic dynamics only hold her back. So, when it's time to stop engaging, she does so with confidence and grace. She moves forward, free from the weight of negativity, knowing that her peace is worth far more than any drama or toxic relationship. 3. Sigma female focuses on self-care. Sigma female knows that before she can give anything to the world, she has to take care of herself first. This isn't just about pampering or indulging in luxury. It's about nurturing her mind, body, and soul. She understands that self-care is not a selfish act, but rather an essential practice for maintaining her strength, clarity, and overall well-being. She doesn't wait for someone else to take care of her needs. She takes full responsibility for her own happiness and health. Whether it's carving out quiet time for herself, engaging in her favorite activities, or simply allowing herself to rest, Sigma Female makes sure that self-care is a priority. It's not an afterthought, it's embedded in her daily life. One of the most important aspects of self-care for Sigma Female is mental health. She actively takes steps to keep her mind clear and focused. This might mean meditating, journaling, or even just taking time to breathe deeply and center herself. She knows that mental clarity is key to making sound decisions and staying true to her goals. Self-care for Sigma Female also includes setting aside time to disconnect from the noise of the world. She understands that constant social media scrolling or overloading on information can be overwhelming. So she knows when to log off, be present, and find peace in the quiet moments. It's in these moments of stillness that she reconnects with herself, recharges, and reaffirms her purpose. Her physical health is equally important. Sigma Female doesn't neglect her body. She knows that taking care of her physical health is crucial to maintaining the energy and strength needed to take on life's challenges. Whether it's eating nourishing food, exercising, or getting enough sleep, Sigma Female treats her body with the care and respect it deserves. Physical self-care isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good too. She's aware that when her body is well taken care of, it directly impacts her mental and emotional states. It empowers her to tackle life's obstacles with confidence and resilience. Another key aspect of self-care for Sigma Female is emotional balance. She doesn't shy away from confronting her feelings, and she doesn't allow her emotions to control her. She creates a healthy space for her feelings, allowing herself to feel what she needs to feel without judgment. She acknowledges when she's stressed, upset, or even happy, and she processes those emotions in a healthy, productive way. Emotional self-care is about honoring her feelings without letting them dictate her actions. Sigma Female also understands the importance of boundaries in self-care. She isn't afraid to say no when something doesn't feel right or when she's overwhelmed. She knows that saying yes to everything only depletes her energy, and saying no is sometimes the most loving thing she can do for herself. By prioritizing her own needs, Sigma Female ensures that she is the best version of herself for those she cares about and for the world around her. Self-care is her foundation. It's how she stays strong, resilient, and true to her purpose. It allows her to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and confidence. When Sigma Female focuses on self-care, she's not just surviving, she's thriving. She knows that she can't pour from an empty cup, so she makes sure hers is always full. 4. Sigma Female communicates clearly and assertively. Sigma Female doesn't leave room for confusion when it comes to communication. She knows the value of speaking her truth and expressing herself with clarity and confidence. There's no guessing with her. When she has something to say, she says it directly, without hesitation. She understands that communication is an essential part of maintaining strong boundaries and healthy relationships. When Sigma Female speaks, she does so with purpose and intention. Her words are carefully chosen, yet they never lack assertiveness. She doesn't beat around the bush or play games with people's feelings. If something is on her mind, she addresses it, plain and simple. Her approach is straightforward because she knows that the more clear and honest she is, the more likely it is that others will understand her and respect her boundaries. Being clear doesn't mean being rude or insensitive. It means being honest and straightforward without sugarcoating things. Sigma Female is mindful of the tone she uses, but she also knows when to be firm. She doesn't feel the need to over-explain or justify herself either. Her confidence in her own voice is enough. She communicates because she values herself and others, and she believes that honest conversation fosters better connections. One of the greatest strengths of Sigma Female's communication style is that it is always assertive. Assertiveness is about expressing oneself openly and honestly while still respecting the feelings and opinions of others. Sigma Female doesn't shy away from standing up for herself or stating her needs. When there's a conflict or disagreement, she doesn't back down, but she also doesn't engage in unnecessary aggression. She knows the difference between being assertive and being confrontational, and she uses her words to express her thoughts and feelings calmly and confidently. There's a level of self-respect that comes with assertive communication. Sigma female knows her worth, and she doesn't feel the need to apologize for it. She doesn't second-guess her thoughts or opinions, and she doesn't let anyone invalidate them. If she's clear about what she wants, what she believes, or what she needs, she voices it, fully aware that she deserves to be heard. Another key aspect of Sigma female's communication is the ability to listen as much as she speaks. Communication isn't just about expressing herself, it's also about understanding others. Sigma female listens intently when others speak, taking the time to process their words and truly understand their perspective. She listens without judgment, giving others the space to share openly. But when it comes time for her to respond, she doesn't hold back. She's not afraid to speak her truth, even if it's uncomfortable or difficult. If someone is trying to manipulate or gaslight her, she calls it out with calm certainty. She doesn't allow herself to be caught in confusion or emotional manipulation. Instead, she cuts through the noise with clarity and honesty, addressing the situation head-on. Sigma female's ability to communicate clearly and assertively is what sets her apart. It's what helps her establish and maintain her boundaries. She's not afraid of confrontation when it's necessary because she understands that clear, direct communication is the foundation for healthy, respectful relationships. Whether it's a work situation, a personal relationship, or a casual conversation, Sigma female doesn't shy away from expressing herself. She does it confidently, respectfully, and with an unwavering belief in the importance of honesty and clarity. Communication is her tool for protecting herself, asserting her needs, and creating the life she deserves. If you're someone who's had to walk away from negativity, share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know how you handle it. Also, if you're feeling empowered right now, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Let's keep this going. 5. Sigma female develops emotional independence. Sigma female knows that her emotions are hers to manage, and she refuses to let anyone else control them. She understands that emotional independence is a key component of personal power, and it's something she takes seriously. Her ability to regulate her emotions is not about shutting them down or ignoring them. It's about acknowledging her feelings without letting them dictate her actions or decisions. Sigma female knows that emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control her. She recognizes that everyone experiences highs and lows, joy and sadness, frustration and calm, but she doesn't allow those emotions to define her. She doesn't rely on others to validate her feelings or to dictate how she should react to situations. Whether someone tries to provoke her, manipulate her emotions, or create unnecessary drama, Sigma female remains grounded in her own emotional space. She doesn't let external forces have that much influence over her peace of mind. When Sigma female feels a surge of emotion, she doesn't react impulsively. Instead, she takes a step back, allowing herself the time and space to process what she's feeling. She reflects on why she's feeling a certain way and what, if anything, she can do about it. She doesn't act on emotion alone. She takes a moment to check in with herself and ensure her actions align with her values and long-term goals. This emotional independence isn't about building walls or becoming cold. It's about having a strong sense of self and knowing how to navigate emotional situations with grace and control. Sigma female doesn't wear her emotions on her sleeve. She doesn't need to broadcast how she's feeling for others to see. She knows that her emotions are her responsibility and no one else's job to manage. She doesn't let anyone manipulate her with guilt, fear, or anger. She recognizes when someone is trying to push her buttons or pull her into an emotional whirlwind, and she refuses to engage. Instead, she keeps her cool and stands firm in her emotional space. In relationships, emotional independence is equally important. Sigma female doesn't rely on others for her happiness. She's fully capable of standing on her own, whether single or in a relationship. She knows that no one person should be the source of her entire emotional world. Her happiness, self-worth, and sense of peace come from within, not from outside validation. This allows her to enter relationships without the burden of emotional dependency. She can love freely and give without losing herself in the process. When Sigma female is emotionally independent, she can give from a place of strength and stability, not desperation or neediness. She understands that relationships are healthier when both partners are whole and emotionally self-sufficient. Emotional independence also means that Sigma female doesn't let rejection, failure, or setbacks crush her spirit. She can experience disappointment, but she doesn't let it define her. She doesn't let a single event or person determine her sense of self-worth. Sigma female knows that setbacks are a part of life, but they don't control her emotional state. She picks herself up, learns from the experience, and keeps moving forward with confidence. Being emotionally independent allows Sigma female to remain calm and collected in difficult situations. She can handle stress, challenges, and conflict with a level of emotional maturity that keeps her grounded. It's not about being perfect or never feeling vulnerable. It's about taking full responsibility for her emotions and not allowing anyone else to have the power to control them. 6. Sigma female walks away from toxic relationships. Sigma female understands that not every relationship is worth maintaining, and she's not afraid to walk away from toxic ones. She values her peace and her mental well-being far more than maintaining connections that drain her energy or undermine her sense of self. While many might feel obligated to hold on to relationships out of guilt, fear, or a sense of duty, Sigma female has no such ties. She knows that the cost of staying in a toxic relationship is simply too high. She doesn't have time for relationships that cause her emotional turmoil or that diminish her sense of self-worth. If a relationship starts to feel heavy, draining, or manipulative, Sigma female doesn't hesitate to walk away. She knows that some people simply aren't meant to be in her life forever, and she's okay with that. She understands that life is too short to waste energy on people who don't add value or who continually bring negativity into her space. Whether it's a romantic partner, a friend, or a family member, Sigma female recognizes that it's not her responsibility to fix anyone. If someone is toxic, controlling, or continuously disrespectful, she doesn't feel the need to justify her decision to leave. She values her happiness and peace of mind more than any relationship. This ability to walk away isn't about being callous or heartless. It's about self-respect. Sigma female knows that staying in a toxic relationship only leads to emotional exhaustion and a loss of personal identity. When she walks away, she does so knowing that she deserves more than what that relationship offers. She deserves respect, love, and genuine connection. And if someone can't provide that, they don't deserve a place in her life. This isn't an act of giving up, it's an act of taking control. Sigma female takes responsibility for her happiness and knows that she can't control or change others, but she can control who she allows into her life. When Sigma female walks away from a toxic relationship, it's a declaration of independence. She is reclaiming her power and her space. She's saying that she's no longer willing to tolerate negativity, manipulation, or disrespect. It's about setting the standard for what she's willing to accept in her life. She doesn't need toxic people to validate her. She validates herself. And if someone isn't willing to treat her with kindness, respect, and care, they can't stay. Walking away can be difficult, but Sigma female does it with clarity and resolve. She knows it's not always easy to let go, especially when there's emotional attachment or history involved. But she also knows that hanging on to toxic relationships only keeps her from growing and becoming the best version of herself. Every time Sigma female walks away, she strengthens her ability to protect her peace and her well-being. She grows more comfortable with the idea that some people are meant to be in her life for a season, not a lifetime. And when that season is over, she has no problem letting go and moving forward. She understands that by walking away from toxic relationships, she creates space for healthier, more fulfilling connections. She is worthy of love and respect, and she won't settle for less. This act of walking away isn't just about removing someone from her life. It's about making room for growth, peace, and the right relationships to come in. Sigma female knows that her time and energy are precious, and she's not afraid to walk away from anything that isn't serving her highest good. 7. Sigma female invests in personal growth. Sigma female is committed to constantly evolving and growing. She understands that life isn't about staying stagnant or settling for less than what she's capable of achieving. She sees personal growth as a lifelong journey, one that requires dedication, self-awareness, and the willingness to change. Unlike many who wait for external circumstances to change, Sigma female takes responsibility for her own development. She knows that if she wants her life to improve, she must first improve herself. Personal growth isn't just about success or achievement. It's about becoming a better version of herself every single day. She invests time, energy, and resources into learning new things, whether it's gaining new skills, reading, attending workshops, or seeking advice from mentors. She understands that knowledge is power, and that the more she knows, the better equipped she is to handle life's challenges. Sigma female is constantly seeking ways to improve her mindset, increase her emotional intelligence, and expand her horizons. She knows that personal growth isn't limited to just one area of life. It's about growing intellectually, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. She understands the importance of self-reflection and introspection. Regularly taking time to check in with herself helps her evaluate her progress, recognize her strengths, and acknowledge areas where she can still grow. This self-awareness gives her the clarity she needs to make decisions that align with her goals and values. But personal growth isn't just about learning new things or gaining knowledge. It's also about taking action. Sigma female knows that she can't just sit around waiting for her life to change. She must be proactive in creating the life she wants. Whether it's making tough decisions, stepping out of her comfort zone, or confronting her fears, she does what it takes to keep moving forward. She's not afraid to challenge herself, and she pushes herself to go beyond her limits. One of the most important aspects of personal growth for Sigma female is building resilience. She knows that setbacks, challenges, and failures are inevitable, but she doesn't let them define her. Instead, she uses these experiences as opportunities to learn and grow stronger. She understands that every failure is a lesson, and it's not about how many times she falls, but how many times she gets back up. Sigma female doesn't let negative experiences hold her back. Instead, she takes them as fuel to propel herself forward. In addition to building resilience, Sigma female also focuses on developing her emotional intelligence. She works on understanding her emotions and reactions, learning to regulate them, and using them in ways that serve her well. She doesn't let her emotions control her actions. Instead, she uses them as a guide to make decisions that are in alignment with her values and long-term goals. Personal growth also means learning how to build healthier relationships. Sigma female isn't just focused on her own success. She understands that the quality of the relationships in her life is just as important as her personal achievements. She works on becoming a better communicator, a better listener, and a better friend. She understands that investing in relationships is an important part of her growth, as these connections help her stay grounded, motivated, and supported. Ultimately, Sigma female sees personal growth as a lifelong commitment to becoming the best version of herself. She knows that no one is ever truly finished with their personal growth. There's always room for improvement, always something new to learn, always another level to reach. And because of this dedication, she continues to evolve, becoming stronger, wiser, and more in control of her own life with each passing day. If you can relate, or if self-care is something you're working on, let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying the video so far, please take a second to hit like and subscribe. It means a lot. Now, let's dive into the next point. 8. Sigma female embraces her authenticity. Sigma female understands that true power comes from being unapologetically herself. She doesn't try to conform to society's standards or live up to the expectations that others may have for her. Instead, she fully embraces her uniqueness, knowing that her authenticity is what makes her stand out. She isn't afraid to show up as the person she truly is, flaws and all, because she knows that she is enough just as she is. Being authentic means that Sigma female doesn't hide parts of herself to please others or fit into a mold that doesn't align with who she is. She's comfortable in her own skin and doesn't feel the need to prove her worth to anyone. While others may seek validation through external sources, Sigma female validates herself. She doesn't need anyone's approval to feel good about herself because she knows that her value comes from within. Her self-worth is rooted in her values, her strengths, and the way she shows up in the world. Sigma female's authenticity isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. She knows that trying to be someone she's not is a recipe for unhappiness and self-doubt. Instead, she embraces all parts of herself, the good and the not so good, and works to improve where she sees fit. This authenticity is freeing. It allows Sigma female to walk through life with confidence, without the weight of pretending or wearing a mask. She shows up as herself in every situation, and it's this genuine energy that draws people to her. She doesn't fake her interests, her emotions, or her opinions just to fit in. What you see is what you get with Sigma female, and that's one of her most powerful traits. Because she embraces her authenticity, Sigma female attracts people who appreciate her for who she truly is. She doesn't waste time on relationships that are built on false pretenses or expectations. Those who are drawn to her are people who see her for her real self and value her for it. Sigma female isn't afraid to set boundaries when it comes to people who don't respect her authenticity. If someone expects her to be something she's not or tries to manipulate her into being someone else, she walks away. She has no tolerance for people who want to change her, because she knows that authenticity is non-negotiable. Embracing her true self also means Sigma female isn't afraid to speak her mind. She doesn't hold back when it comes to sharing her thoughts and opinions. If something doesn't sit right with her, she'll address it directly. She communicates her needs, desires, and feelings without fear of judgment or rejection. This authentic communication allows her to build genuine, trusting relationships with the people around her. Sigma female also embraces her authenticity by being comfortable with her imperfections. She doesn't strive for perfection or compare herself to others. Instead, she accepts that she is a work in progress, constantly evolving and learning. She doesn't let her flaws define her, but rather she uses them as opportunities for growth. Ultimately, Sigma female understands that the most empowering thing she can do is be true to herself. She knows that authenticity leads to greater fulfillment, stronger relationships, and a deeper sense of peace. When she embraces who she truly is, she radiates a confidence that others can't help but admire. Authenticity is her strength, her shield, and the key to living a life that is truly hers, and no one, nothing, can take that from her. Now picture this. You're in a situation where someone's trying to twist your words, make you doubt your own choices. It feels familiar, like they've done this before. They're using manipulation tactics they think will work. Guilt trips, emotional pressure, maybe even a little gaslighting. They want you to second-guess your decisions, pull you into their chaotic world, make you question your instincts. But this time, it doesn't work. You catch it before they can hook you. You see the game they're playing, and in that moment, everything shifts. The fog clears. You realize without a doubt that you are in control of this situation. This is not about winning an argument or proving a point to them. It's about standing in your own power. In that moment, something clicks inside you. You feel it deep down, like a rush of strength, and for the first time, you fully understand your worth. You realize that you don't have to play their game. You don't need their approval. You've had enough of being manipulated, of being pulled in every direction except your own. You've spent so long giving your energy away, doubting yourself, letting others dictate your emotions, and now it's time to stop. You take a step back, you breathe, and with clarity, you make the decision to walk away, not because you're weak, but because you're stronger than you've ever been. You walk away, not out of fear, but out of self-respect. You know that peace is more important than any relationship that tries to diminish your worth. And that moment of realization, that quiet strength, is the turning point. The manipulation, it's over, done, finished. You've stopped the cycle, taken back your power, and shown yourself just how much control you really have. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a dramatic showdown. It was a quiet, calm decision to prioritize your own well-being. In that split second, you become someone who can no longer be manipulated, and that's not just powerful, it's life-changing. When the manipulation stops working, that's when you start to see just how strong you truly are. The Sigma female doesn't need anyone's approval, doesn't have to play anyone's game. She knows exactly who she is. She doesn't need anyone to validate her or tell her what to do. When she stops being manipulated, she finally starts living for herself. And that's the level of freedom most people will never understand. No longer trapped in the cycle of trying to please others, she moves forward, fully in charge of her own life. And as she takes back her autonomy, she begins to realize something incredibly powerful. Her worth doesn't depend on anyone else. She's the one who defines her path, who sets her own course, and who decides what is and isn't acceptable in her life. This freedom is more than just independence. It's a deep, unshakable confidence that radiates from within. The Sigma female knows her own value and never allows anyone to take that away from her. She no longer plays by anyone else's rules. She writes her own story. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to break free from manipulation? How did you reclaim your power? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. If this message resonated with you, if you're ready for more empowerment and personal growth, don't miss my next video. Let's keep this energy flowing and remind ourselves daily that we deserve to live unapologetically, confidently, and free. You've got this.